I'm sorry, let me rephrase my question. Why is it important to provide sick leave? Because I'm not sure I really got an answer to that question. I got a speech, but I'm not really sure I got an answer to that question.
Senator Stewart.
Mr. President, what I said in the beginning, and I had to answer some of these criticism because nobody's asking me any questions. So thank you for asking me questions.
Senator Stewart, would you please indulge the body with regard to the first part of Section 4 of the bill, subsection A, through the second semicolon, please.
Senator Stewart.
It'd
be helpful to have a page and line.
Page 5, lines 23 through 25. That's Section 4, subsection A, through the second semicolon.
Senator Ivey Soto, just for clarification, we are still on the amendment. You're leading to the amendment question, correct?
That is correct. This is on the amendment.
Senator Stewart.
Mr. President, this is provision for the earned sick leave use and accrual.
Would you, Mr. President, Senator Stewart, would you please indulge the body with what it says up to the second semicolon?
Mr. President, I'm not going to read the bill aloud. He's got the bill right in front of him. If you have a specific question, I'm happy to answer that.
Okay, well, very well. I will read it aloud then, Mr. President and Senator Stewart.
Senator Ivey Soto, you have to go through the chair, please.
Mr. President. So employees shall accrue a minimum of 1 hour of earned sick leave for every 30 hours worked. Now, we've heard that stated 5 times so far. Here's what comes right after that. Provided that employers may choose a higher accrual rate. Provided that employers may choose a higher accrual rate. So, Mr. President, Senator Stewart, if public sector employees already have a better benefit, then why would there be any conflict with this applying to them?
So, Mr. President, this part is not of the amendment, but I will say again, this bill was not written for a public employee sick leave policy.
Mr. President, Senator Stewart, a moment ago, you said this was intended for people who work, and you named certain sectors, and you said that this was intended for those who don't already have a benefit plan. Would you please show me in the bill where it says that this applies to people who don't already have a benefit plan?
Mr. President, I'll continue to answer your questions if you'll stop being quite so abusive in your questioning of me.
Senators, just a reminder, when we are in debate, decorum, respect is always important.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, and thank you. Even though you weren't able to read 3 lines in the bill, the page and a half that you just read was illuminating, particularly with all the generally comments that were made, Mr. President and Senator Stewart. Now, when you said that it is something that can be converted, is that both ERB and PERA, Mr. President, Senator Stewart?
Senator Stewart.
Mr. President, no. ERB workers do not receive any benefit if they don't use sick leave. Mr. President, this bill does not apply to public employees. Yes, you all stuck the amendment on in Judiciary, and then most of you voted against the bill, period. But this is not a public employee paid time off bill. It's for private employers.
Mr. President, Senator Stewart, why do we care more about the health and well-being of the receptionist at Presbyterian Hospital than we do the receptionist at the UNM Hospital?
So, Mr. President, I don't like this line of questioning. It continues to be abusive, and you know that's not accurate. This bill does not say one group of employees is more important than another. It's not a very good thing to ask. If you want to ask about the bill, fine. But
Senator
don't
Stewart,
accuse me, please, Mr. President and Senator, of not caring about some employees.
Senator Ivey Soto.
Mr. President, Senator Stewart, actually, I think that's exactly the pivotal question here. Mr. President, Senator Stewart, if we believe that we should pass this because there are frontline people who may not have a choice and they need to be protected, Mr. President, Senator Stewart, why is it we have to protect someone who works as a receptionist at Presbyterian Hospital, but you are sponsoring an amendment that would deny the same protection to someone who has the exact same job at UNMH, a public hospital.
Senator Stewart.
And Mr. President, as I've said repeatedly, I'm sure Presbyterian already has those kind of paid time off policies. So this bill is written and crafted for private employers. We have a huge gap in our private employers of being able to offer paid time off. That's where the problem is. It's not at UNMH. It's not at large corporations, whether they're public or private. It's for smaller businesses that don't feel like they want to offer it. That's what this is designed for, to close that huge loophole.
Senator Ivey Soto.
So, Mr. President, Senator Stewart, you just said this is not designed for public employers, so you're doing an amendment to remove public employers. You also just said, Mr. President, Senator Stewart, this is not designed for large corporations. Mr. President, Senator Stewart, where in the bill does it exempt large corporations?
Mr. President, I'm no longer going to yield to the senator.
Mr. President, Senator Stewart, you make assertions that this is not intended for large corporations, and yet you cannot point in this bill to where that is covered. Mr. President, Senator Stewart, how is it you cannot answer those questions?
Senator Stewart.
Mr. President, the amendment is taking off the amendment that you put on in Judiciary, where you turned the bill from what it's supposed to be for private employers into the poison pill of saying, oh no, this is for everyone. This is for everyone.
Senators, just a reminder in the debate that we remain on the debate of the merits of the bill, and we don't have those personal discussions taking place. Senator Ivey Soto.
Thank you, Mr. President, for pointing that out. Mr. President, Senator Stewart, but my question remains, though, if everybody in the public sector has a better plan, then why would that amendment have been a poison pill? What makes that a poison pill?
Mr. President, I never said that everybody has a better plan that's a public employee. What I've said is that this bill is designed for private businesses, that public employees have a very different statute that governs them. And, that's the way it is. I just think that government in general is more responsive. And we also have to offer more to our employees to get them to work for us. So we don't pay very well. So I just think the system that you're talking about is not what I'm talking about in this bill.
Apparently, the public sector unions don't support applying this to public sector employers. Is that what I garnered from what you just read?
Mr. President, I'm not going to yield any more to Senator Ivey Soto.
Senator Ivey Soto.
Mr. President, Senator Stewart, you just read a lot of assertions, and I think the body has the right to have an understanding about these assertions. Mr. President, I do believe a sponsor is to stand while they're presenting the bill.
That's correct, Senator. Senator Ivey Soto.
Mr. President, Senator Stewart, you just read off a number of assertions. I do believe
Mr. President, point of order.
Mr. President, I object. I believe we are in a bullying state at this point in time, and it's disgraceful to the public.
Thank you, Senator Stefanik.
Mr. President, I concur.
Senators, just a reminder, we are to keep the decorum. Senator Ivey Soto, in your line of questioning, to ensure that your questions remain calm and an appropriate volume, and to make sure that the questions aren't in an attacking or personal manner. Senator Ivey Soto.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, Senator Stewart, there were a number of assertions that were made, Mr. President, Senator Stewart, and I do believe that when the assertions include the primary need as private, well, that's not the exclusive need. Mr. President, Senator Stewart, in what you just read, when it says in most instances, well, that's not all instances.